13?
Next year's 18.
18. This is another hell of a card. This really is. This is, even before this main event match goes out, this has been very entertaining. Don't you think? You had Eddie Guerrero. You had that incredible TLC match, Regal and Jericho to open things up. Hell of a show, man. No wonder they sandblasted our ass out of here.
You didn't talk about the gimmick rumble.
Yeah. I'd like seeing somebody stomp Bruce Pritchard's ass, but other than that,
who wouldn't?
Yeah, that's right. That's what we ought to do. All three of us ought to go up to Stamford and stand out in front of the WWE network, or stand out in front of their office and say, "Come on down here and talk to us, motherfucker."
Wait, are you acting like I can't? I mean, I can get Arn Anderson on the phone. You think I can't get Bruce Pritchard on the phone? We got a sold out show this weekend, Connecticut.
Do I bet you do. I bet you do.
Ironically timed Connecticut.
Is it ironically timed?
How did we not see that, Tony?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a homecoming show.
Is it this coming weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it on Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. You want to come up?
No, I can't go on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you got fucking baseball.
Yeah, I got basketball. I wish I'd tell you what, if it was on Sunday, I'd be there. I wouldn't miss that thing for the world.
Well, we got Bischoff there too.
Well, I'm sure you do. I'm sure he was invited long before I was.
Yeah, we do shows with the big shows, you know.
Yeah, apparently so. Oh,
Tony, do you have a live show scheduled for Connecticut?
no.
He does have one for Chicago.
That's right.
Hey, I haven't even told you this. Can I tell you who all's going to be in our booth in Chicago at C2E2?
Please.
And I guess we should tell everybody the tickets are available now. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find a link?
They can find the link at, I don't know. Where can they find the link?
Oh my gosh. How about you tweet it out just to let everybody know? Can we do that? Can we have you tweet it out?
No.
Okay. Well, go to c2e2.com if you'd like to come.
Okay.
And then click on C2E2 After Dark and scroll down and you'll see us. Or you could, if you want to, just maybe try to find Tony's Twitter and there'll be a link there. But it's Friday, March 22nd. It's from 8 to 10. It's the first time ever What Happened in 83 Weeks, which is Eric Bischoff, Tony Schiavone, and myself. So should be a fun time. But earlier that day is C2E2. And there will be some professional wrestlers there. Can I run through a list of who's going to be there with us, Tony?
I'd love for you to.
Marty Scurll.
Go break your finger.
All right.
The Young Bucks.
Is a little pattern going here?
Kenny Omega.
Okay. Pattern established.
And CM Punk.
Oh. Oh.
Also Tony Schiavone and Eric Bischoff.
Fucking ho. Okay, get your tickets. What's the website again?
Well, I don't know, Tony. Why don't you tell them?
I'm getting ready to tweet it, motherfucker.
Then, all right, then just go to Twitter and look up, tell them your handle. This is where you give a cue.
At Tony Schiavone 24.
Boom. And then you'll see the link right there where you can come see our show, and you can even buy tickets to the C2E2 convention floor. Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, CM Punk, Marty Scurll, Eric Bischoff, Tony Schiavone.
Wow.
This is like, if I imagine when you went out in Memphis back in the day with Elvis, like you could look like Casio and still do pretty well. Yeah. Cause you could just siphon off the leftovers, the castaways, the putbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's the fucking link again? I'm getting ready to tweet it.
Oh, Jesus Lord.
Please, come on.
It's the letter C. It's the number 2. It's the letter E. It's the number 2, C2E2.com. And then click on After Dark. And you'll see What Happened in 83 Weeks. They gave you top billing there because you're What Happened. Tony Schiavone, Eric Bischoff, and myself. First time ever And you don't need a C2E2 ticket to come to this. It's a separately ticketed event, so you don't have to come to C2E2. But if you want to, when you come over, you can say what up to Marty Scurll. You can say what up to the Young Bucks. You can high five Kenny Omega, and you can even meet CM Punk, Chicago's own. And when you're done with all that, Tony Schiavone's there.
When is that going on?
Interesting. The fact that CM Punk's going to be part of this is interesting.
Really? Because just a minute ago you were on Triple H. Are you sure it's interesting?
No, I like interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I mean, it was so interesting you wouldn't even fucking tweet it before I told you CM Punk was there, and now you're in.
What?
I'm looking forward to it. So we're about a month away now. It's Friday in Chicago, and you guys may hang out a little bit on Saturday and meet some more fans. So if you can't make it Friday, maybe there's a chance to meet everybody on Saturday, maybe not. But the show that everybody's going to be talking about with Podcast Row Friday night. Come on.
All right.
You know, the rumor and innuendo is that your great close personal friend, Mr. Jim Cornette's going to be there too. Now, if I was a gambling man, I would say he's not going to be seated near the Young Bucks.
Right.
But, I'm pretty good friends with the Young Bucks and Mr. Omega and Marty.
I gathered that.
Yeah. They're good guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not as close with them as you are Triple H, but you know.
Yeah. Well, not everybody can be.
Right. So Tony, do you want to sing about your ding-a-ling now? As we get
No,
ready
I don't. Cause I want this to be on. I want this to be able to be, no. No. Fine. Fuck are we doing here?
Are you rooting for somebody here, Tony?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm rooting for a good match, Cassio.
Well, you're going to have that. Everybody says this is the best match of the WrestleMania trilogies. And it's also regarded as having the best promo, which we talked over because you can't really hear it, but they played Limp Bizkit's version of My Way. And it was a really good hype video put together by David Sahadi that's worth going out of your way to see. We may try to see if Dave Silva can tweet that out for us this week. But here is the song, or a little bit of it, just so you can hear it. Cause I know you're not a Limp Bizkit fan. I know you like your biscuits hard.
Yes, man. That's fucking great.
Let me get to the chorus.
Hey, it gets better. Yes, Rock. Okay. Is it over yet? The not the match, but the song.
So there you go. There's a little sample. Everybody who grew up on this remembers that video and that song probably as well or better than any other music video in wrestling. You know, some people remember the Triple H return from January of 2002 when they were playing like the whole U2 song, and they did a great little WCW video with Kid Rock, Lonely Road of Faith. And so there's a handful of music videos from that time that David Sahadi just burned in all of our minds. But this, for a main event match, is what everybody remembers. That hype video and how well it was put together and told the story of this feud.
Yeah.
And they have a great match here, but I got to tell you, this is the match that Stone Cold looks back on and says it was a mistake.
Why?
Well, you'll see, but,
what, like there's one spot that,
yeah.
Okay. All right. That makes him say it was a mistake. Look, Hebner's the referee here.
So yeah, you got,
wow, some pretty good shit going on here for it to be a mistake.
Is that Kevin Sullivan I hear in the background?
No.
I guess we should remind everybody the company's never been hotter at this time. They've just recently bought out WCW. You can tell the DCW's done because their owner, Paul Heyman, is doing commentary. He's there because Jerry Lawler has just walked out on the company in protest for them firing his wife, the cat. And the response, I mean, the sort of surprise is how well Heyman worked with JR, and people still talk about that duo and really enjoyed their work. And they did a great job on this and gave it a big fight feel. And the music video and just everything's clicking on all cylinders to where this is really one of the first years that they let towns and cities sort of bid on WrestleMania, much like they do a Super Bowl or something like that. And they sold tremendous sponsorships for this. So there was lots of other newfound income that the WWE was realizing here beyond just merchandise and ticket sales. But needless to say, these guys are earning a tremendous amount of money on merchandise, specifically the two in the ring. JR just recently told a story where just for one quarter, he delivered a check to Stone Cold for more than $1 million just for t-shirts. Jesus. And that's just one quarter, and it's all happening around this era. And this is really when Vince McMahon sort of became wrestling. Dave Meltzer would freestyle that, Vince believes he owns wrestling and he is wrestling, and anything wrestling needs to have him involved with it, and he needs to own it and control it. And that really happened right here, with ECW going down, WCW going down, his business hotter than ever. And from 2000 until last year, nobody ever sold 10,000 seats in America. And then Cody and the Young Bucks did All In. And now, as the fallout from that, there's a new company, AEW, and people are talking about what it could represent and will it bring wrestling back to, a more competitive state that we enjoyed during the height of the Attitude Era. I've never really talked about that. Do you think that competition is good within wrestling? Do you think that maybe the WWE's creative process might change, or they may have to adjust some things just because they want to sort of maintain a lead and stay ahead?
I don't know if they'll have to adjust some things, but it's going to make them better, because I think competition makes everybody better.
Right.
And I think it's good for business. It's good for business because if nothing else, it gives guys more opportunities. Wrestlers, guys who go out there and, bump and do crazy shit and put their bodies on the line. It gives them opportunities to make money somewhere. And that's good.
I don't know if you saw, but Earl just passed the stick to The Rock. Mm-hmm. Austin nails him with the ring bell. Fans cut away. See The Rock's mom right there, front row, right, with the bodyguard. She was at Rick's birthday party.
She was at Pop's birthday party, I was told.
You didn't meet her?
Nope, didn't meet her.
Oh, I thought you would have went over there asking about the Titan games. I used to work for Titan, and I call professional sports and college too. And I call men's, I call ladies, and I mean, I'm just multi-talented, and as long as y'all don't run it on Saturday, I'd be glad to be involved.
Wow.
If y'all fuck around do it on Saturday, I just can't do it. I got lacrosse coming up soon.
Do I talk like that, Cassian?
Well, listen.
I've never seen you in kiss ass mode.
Oh no, it's there. I mean, he usually does it in libraries and restaurants, but the table just collapsed and it wasn't on camera.
And that's the spot?
No.
Okay. Well, there's my buddy. Look at that. Tommy Carlucci.
That's all Tony's going to think about this entire match now is what spot is Stone Cold pissed about.
Just worth mentioning, Stone Cold has been the hottest act in wrestling since late 97, certainly early 98. Maybe you could argue that Sting and Hogan were in late 97, but by WrestleMania, March of 98, it's clear Austin is the biggest act, and Goldberg would threaten that summer, but the WWF would gain that lead and maintain that momentum with Stone Cold as the top babyface. And he needed an antagonist. He needed The Rock as his rival. And that's how we got here. 15 was those guys. That was the main event, The Rock in Austin for the first time. 16 was, they tried something a little different, didn't really work. So now they're back here at 17 with what worked in 15. And now they're the two hottest stars in the business, and it's not close. You know, you've got the cool heel, and then you've got the most over baby face they've ever had, who's setting all kinds of revenue records for the company. I mean, and merchandise moving like they haven't seen since Hulkamania t-shirts 2 generations before. And they make a decision creatively in this match that changes the WWE's momentum, and it changes the career trajectory of Stone Cold Steve Austin forever. And he reflects on it as being one of his 2 biggest regrets. The other being when he walked out on the company in 2002 over being frustrated with the creative booking. But a lot of people say maybe he wouldn't have walked out and been as frustrated had they not made the decision they made here in this particular match.
All right. You said it changed the business, the creative decision.
Yeah. They make a decision here that everyone looks back now and says, this was a mistake.
So how did it change the business? Did the business drop after this decision?
Tremendously.
Really?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It was still great.
Right. But
the momentum was gone. It was never as hot as it was coming into this. It's hotter than it's ever been. And coming out of this, not anymore, which is why a year later you would see Stone Cold in the middle of the card wrestling Scott Hall.
Well, could there be also another part of the story?
You're going to say that perhaps competition is the reason it was down?
Exactly.
No, I disagree, because you guys had been sucking hind teat for 2 years. You'd been absolute trash. You couldn't sell 2,000 tickets. You couldn't get ratings. I mean, more people listen to Cassio's radio show here in Huntsville than watch Thunder.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that creatively with the WWE, would they have made these decisions had there not been competition?
No, that's a fair question. But I do think that eventually they were going to try this no matter what. And they tried it here and it was a miss. But it's fascinating because on Something to Wrestle, we've talked about what the original idea was, because they did have a really solid idea, and for whatever reason, 2 talents didn't want to acquiesce. So they did something different, and it was a mistake.
Well, they surely are kicking it in high gear right here, man.
They're kicking each other's ass.
Yes, they are. It's good shit. Rocky Alls.
Boom. No turnbuckle.
Which makes me think they probably shouldn't have pulled down the turnbuckle in the first match. I'm sure that probably got some people pissed off. Or maybe they thought it was 3.5 hours between them. They could get away with it.
I forgot that was this same episode.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
There's that knuckle to his fucking belt again. And,
Main event, though, you know, when you think about big WrestleMania main events, it's harder to think about 2 bigger names to have in there than Stone Cold and The Rock, and both guys bleeding here. This is old school wrestling main event stuff, is it not?
Oh, yeah, it is. And it's because you got 2 guys who have grown up in the old school.
I really wish that Stone Cold would at least tease running for president, because I think we're on to something.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, how about that Titan games on NBC? Can you believe it, Tony?
Yes, sir, man. I look at The Rock and I wonder, can a guy eat that much sushi? You ever seen his cheat days?
No, I don't stalk The Rock. I'm not looking for a job there.
Okay.
Not looking for.
Has these cheat days where he eats like.
You know, here's what's interesting. Whenever I try to tag you in tweets about your business, you won't look at that shit. But if you can look at The Rock working out on Instagram, you're in.
No. Wrong.
What did I say that wasn't true?
My daughter tells me about
who's
this.
married, by the way.
Yeah. My daughter tells me about it because she follows The Rock on Instagram. She said, have you ever seen his cheat days? I said, no. She said, and she handed me her phone and said, take a look at this. I'll go, oh my God. Can anybody eat that much sushi in a setting? Meanwhile, back to the match here.
Are you going to talk about it, or are you just
Yeah,
gonna
I will just. You don't have to talk about everything that goes on here. Just
okay. I'll remember that next time you tell me to talk.
okay. Talk.
Right hand from the man from the Sudan.
Oh, you talking about the Iron Sheik?
No, Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, Abdullah the Butcher. Didn't know he was named that. And who's this? Is this the Goon?
That's the Goon.
Okay. And look, here's a pickup. Oh.
What do you think of all the carnage that we've seen here? I mean, the announcer tables are down, and then all those tables from the TLC. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah. Going to put him right into the ring post. Well, I think this entire show kind of exemplifies what WrestleMania is and should be. Don't you? I mean, you got major superstars in the main event. You had a little gimmick battle royal, something for everybody. You had a lights out TLC match that no one's ever forgotten. You opened up with Regal and Jericho, two great workers.
And how about that Triple H match? Am I right?
Oh, without question. It's hard to hit. Oh, fuck. Missed that one.
Yeah.
Yep. Because,
Buddy Austin is bleeding heavy.
What's he going to do here?
I think he's looking for a Kleenex.
Kleenex, he needs a Cottonelle wipe.
A Continental wipe.
Here we go.
I threw that out. Maybe there'll be a sponsor. 1, 2, and a 2 count.
God.
Whoa, my God.
He's painted.
Crimson Mask.
We just need him to start saying souffle like Gordon Soleil.
Yeah, popping the bird. You got me bleeding?
Pop him the bird.
Oh. Oh, well, this is it.
Yeah, that's it. Nah, it can't be it. We got 20 minutes left in the show.
No way.
Don't be giving
There's
spoilers.
no way. There's no way.
Yeah, we do. Great shots. Great camera work.
Didn't you nickname The Rock Sharpshooter the other day?
Yes. The Scorpion King Deathlock.
Yep.
What did he call it back then? The sharpshooter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he used for it. Jesus. Austin is fucking bleeding.
Like a stuck pig.
Ew. Like a pig that was stuck at Chris Canyon's barbecue. I was watching this. I was home by this time.
I was fixing to say, you've never seen this.
No, I haven't. I left after the gimmick battle royal.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I like Stone Cold's attitude, even when he's bleeding. fuck the world type thing. I think everybody I really do. I think everybody who is such a big Dwayne Johnson fan and a big fan of his work in movies, I think they need to go back and watch this. Just to get an idea of how balls out he went in the ring as a wrestler. I don't think that you can truly appreciate him until you see what he's doing here and what he's done. And we're talking about the guy who's the number one action star in all of Hollywood now, and look what he's doing here, man. God, he's bleeding too.
A lot.
A lot.
They both are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an old school proper wrestling main event for you.
Yeah, it is. And
I mean, two dudes in black trunks bleeding from their heads, brawling all over the place, flipping the referees off.
That's what I'm talking about. The attitude that, the attitude that Austin had, man, was even when he's bleeding, he was in the throngs of a match. He's still popping off the referee like, fuck you, I'll do what I want to do.
Cinching it up here.
Yeah, but the flip side of this is, as great as this match is, I'm really enjoying it. The fans, are they like, who are they rooting for here?
Well, they're a little exhausted. I mean,
yeah.
This has been a long show.
Right.
I've seen a lot. I think the only criticism, besides what we're going to see, is that the match is probably a little too long for me. And I know, the main eventers here took a lot of pride in stealing the show. And a lot of times they think that means you need more time. And I get that. But like that spot right there is the exact finish that Stone Cold was beaten by Bret Hart at Survivor Series 96 and at WrestleMania 8. Mm-hmm. Bret Hart used to beat Roddy Piper with a sleeper hold. So it's a good spot. It tells a good story, but I think that you could probably shave this off a little bit because they've seen so much. And maybe if the card was a little shorter, that would be okay. But I mean, after that crazy brawl that you just had with the Undertaker and Triple H, and then you saw that incredible car crash of a TLC, it's really, really hard to top, those matches on the same card. And I know that's what these guys are setting out to do, but I just wonder if maybe a little less is more.
Yeah. And I agree with all of that. It's like the question I brought up earlier. Do you think how long should a pay-per-view be? And
there's just got to be an adrenaline dump at some point when you've been up and down so many times, just where you're emotionally, involved. I'm not saying physically, you're just emotionally drained. And so at some point here, like, yes, these are the guys you came to see and you're really excited when they come out because they got monster pops and incredible reactions. But now, even though they're telling a good story and they're doing good stuff, it almost feels like light applause, like people are waiting for what's going to happen. And look what's happening now.
My God.
We haven't seen Vince McMahon out since he had that match earlier tonight with his son. And of course, all the shenanigans with Linda and Trish, who we now know is not in Tony's top 5, which is fine. I believe you said really low on the list.
No, I did not. I really like her. And, and the storyline here is, I know Stone Cold has always had an issue with Mr. McMahon. What's the storyline here now? Where are they at in this McMahon storyline with Stone Cold?
Well, they've been mortal enemies.
Where does Rock fit in all this? I know Rock was with Mr. McMahon.
He was the corporate champion once upon a time.
Right, but he's no longer that. Oh. Interesting to see how this is going to play out, man. I'm very glad I haven't watched it before now. Right.
The Rock going to set up the people's elbow here? Sure looks like it.
It sure does. Throw off them elbow pads. Come on. Yeah, man. Here, I got it. One. I'm going to take it off. Oh, fell in the pants. Here it is. And that's got to be it. 1, 2. What the fuck? McMahon saves Austin.
How about that? So now the fans are kind of confused as to what's going on because now that, of course, they see The Rock giving chase, and now they're like, okay, wait a minute. I guess that means, where does Austin fit into this? And Austin cuts him off and gives The Rock his own finishing maneuver, the rock bottom.
1, 2. No, and he got out of it. Well, for intrigue, you can't beat this. For intrigue, it's like, what the fuck's going on type intrigue. You still with us, Cassio, or are you on the phone to Judy here?
He's in trouble. I mean, you know what this looks like.
Yes.
So I'm going to go tape a podcast and you're gone half a goddamn day.
Oh.
All right. So here we go. Ref bump obligatory.
Yeah.
It's sort of, it's old school, but I really love that there's all these cameramen around the ring. It makes it feel like a big fight.
Yeah, sure does. Big fight feel. You're right. Exactly.
I wish they would do that again. And you see Austin asking for an assist. And here comes Vince with a chair himself, getting into the ring. And Stone Cold's giving him orders. The fans have to be a little confused by this because wait a minute.
Yeah. No, he's going to hit Austin on the back. No, he's not. Oh, they're going to do the fucking drop down. No, fuck, he hit him.
I think everybody thought the same thing you did.
Yeah.
But instead they just played it straight, gets a chair shot, makes the cover, but there's no referee. Vince can fix that. So Vince is actively working to try to help pin The Rock. He wants Stone Cold to win. And you see some fans react, but to me still, you're the hottest babyface in the business. It does feel like a mistake. And Austin would say 10 years later, it was a mistake to turn him heel here. This is the beginning of an Austin heel run. And, you know, when they turned Hulk Hogan heel, it's because Hogan had sort of waffled. The sales were not the same. The revenue and intrigue and interest in the Hulk Hogan character, the babyface, was not the same. So they tried something different, but that's not the case here when they tried it with Austin. He's the hottest. And looking back, it was an error. It was a mistake, and business was down as a result.
Well, the old adage was, and it always worked, the best time to turn a heel babyface is when he's the hottest. But obviously the flip side cannot be said. You turn a hot babyface heel, it works. Yeah, so what they just did, with all this, they just kind of shit on their hottest angle. 1, 2, no, and he got out of it.
This is also one of those WrestleManias I remember where everybody's kicking out of every finisher. And look at the crowd. It really works, but
yeah,
you wonder, as you've said before, how often can you kick out of a guy's finish before it doesn't mean shit?
So out of this, was he and Mr. McMahon friends and, you know, in the storyline working together? And
eventually, you know, business would be down and they wanted to try new things. They could tell they were losing some momentum. So they maybe rushed the invasion angle that summer, and it didn't do the business that they wanted either. But, you know, you could argue, well, that's because they didn't have Sting and they didn't have Goldberg and they didn't have Ric Flair. And you know, they didn't have Kevin Nash and they didn't have enough of what WCW was at the time. They had Booker T and DDP, and there's nothing wrong with that, but wasn't enough stars on that side.
So they can use a chair in this match without being thrown out. I don't get this. Was it listed as a no disqualification match? Or was
the owner of the company's in the ring? So if he changes the rules on the fly, it's okay.
Okay. I got it. That's what I thought.
$8,300 chair shots. And that's your win. No Stone Cold Stunner, just 1,000 chair shots and cover him. And the crowd popped. I don't know if you saw, but there was a big reaction because they came to WrestleMania to see Stone Cold win the belt. And he did, but it's not the same Stone Cold who was running around stunning Vince McMahon and flipping him birds and pouring beer on him. Now they're together. What do you think?
Well, I think they just pissed away their best angle. To me, and I go back to, and again, I'm watching this from afar, and I'm watching this now years and years later. I remember thinking, boy, the Mr. McMahon against Stone Cold is their best angle. Was their best storyline. And now they've just completely turned it around.
I mean, who would have ever thought you would see this, them drinking beers and not just stunning the shit out of Vince McMahon, you know?
Right.
Maybe they tease that, but then there's a big stunner, but no, that doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. You're even thinking here now, now fucking lay it into Vince.
Yeah. You got what you want. You want
right.
the belt, now turn on him, but it doesn't happen. They leave Stone Cold as the heel. I mean, a lot of people bought a ticket to see Stone Cold win the belt, and he did, but it sure does feel like this is not exactly what everybody paid for.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, this is a misstep. And
what's interesting to me is it's really the first major one. I mean, looking back, nobody thought it at the time. Everybody thought, well, let's see what the payoff is, but business would start to dip. And it happened just 6 days after WCW was out of business. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And why did it happen 6 days after WCW was out of business? Because they could, and who's anybody else going to turn to?
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about that, I guess, but
there is.
Maybe that's going to change soon. I guess we'll see.
Yep.
But I had fun going back and revisiting WrestleMania 17, and I look forward to us doing something fun next week. We'll do a little rendezvous and figure out what that is. And if we can't come up with exactly what we want to do next week, we'll post a poll, and we'll do that at WHW Monday on Twitter. So if you haven't already, follow us there and stay tuned because there may be a poll coming and certainly an opportunity to ask questions. And look, he's about to get nailed again with a belt shot here.
Wow.
One more for good measure. Wham. And we're going to get you one more for good measure over on Patreon as well at patreon.com/WHW Monday. We're going to have some bonus shows for you and lots more fun stuff coming. Of course, Tony is cranking out extra content there all the time, live Q&As and whatnot. This is going to be a fun ride as we march towards WrestleMania and revisit some of these big historic shows. And there's not been a WrestleMania that's been more requested than this one, WrestleMania 17. Look forward to being with you next week. And Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
Well, as they're showing now the finale of that 1,800 chair shots that would end up being the finish, I do want to say that making his way to the ring right now is Triple H. And Triple H is going to come to the ring, and oh my God, here comes the Undertaker once again, and Triple H knocks him down. He is out. Here come the Dudley Boys, and he knocks them out. Oh, he's going to knock the. Here come the Hardys, and he sends them back running with their tails between their legs. And my God, it's Edge and Christian, and Triple H knocked them out as well. It's Triple H. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. He is the greatest wrestler of all time. And I guess I've done too much today. We are out of time. We'll see you next week on What Happened When on the MLW Radio Network, as well as on
Patron.